What's going on, everybody? It's a video I've been wanting to make for a while. I've been asked a few times. I didn't really know how to, kind of long-winded story, I'll try to break it down as fast as I can, but it's how I got into G-bodies. I promise you it's a very messed up story. If you stick with me, I promise you won't believe me, but I have people that can verify everything I say. So with that, guys, please watch and let's get started. So what's going on, everybody? It's nice to have everybody back. As most of you know, if you keep up the channel at all, the car is gone. I got Steve's truck over here. He's wiring the car. If you get on my Instagram, it's Monte Guy 90, you can see Steve's work, and it's just freaking fantastic. It is amazing. Everything is as hidden as it can be. It looks 100%, professional compared to what I'm used to, is butt connectors and stuff. I'm not that good at wiring. Steve's doing an amazing job, so the car is there. And I've had a bunch of questions. Video I've been wanting to make for a while. I haven't been able to because we've been so busy, but with the car being gone, I got some time. I figured I'd go ahead and make it. And that's kind of how I got into G-bodies. So if you keep up with the channel at all, back in 2009, I started racing circle track because I had just graduated high school. Decided I wanted to do something else. So we started racing. Me, my buddy Joe, my dad already raced. My dad's buddy Kenny already raced. There was 4 of us racing out of a garage over at Sportsdrome Speedway over in Clarksville, Indiana. But before that, I'd grown up at Louisville Motor Speedway. From the time I was born until the time they closed down, my dad had raced. From figure 8 to oval track. It's something I grew up in. Didn't really want to work on cars till I was 18, decided I wanted to start doing it, so we started building a circle track car. 2009, I started racing. It probably lasted, I'm gonna say, 5 years-ish, 4 or 5 years, and I started wearing down. We were tearing cars up. People were taking us out because we started getting to the front. That track kind of made me frustrated, made me lose interest in racing. We'll skip ahead a little bit, but one night my dad got a phone call for a car. It was an 84 Monte Carlo for scrap. I told him I wanted it. I said, Dad, I want it. You know, I always had wanted G-bodies because growing up seeing that Monte Carlo front end, the SS front end, on the circle tracks at Louisville Motor made me want one. So I'd always seen them between that and Dale Earnhardt growing up. My dad was a Dale Earnhardt fan. So we went out for scrap. I got the car for 300 bucks. I get it home. It's brown. It's a V6 car. Well, let's skip ahead just a little bit more. The car was sitting in the driveway. At that time, I didn't know half the stuff I know now in fabricating, building, nothing. We always had people build our engines and stuff. So I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and sell it. So I posted it on Craigslist at the time, not Facebook. So it tells you 2000, it's probably 2010, 2009-ish, somewhere around there. I'm gonna say 2009, I think. I sold the car for $600. The same exact day I sold it, we were sitting at work, and my buddy Steve that you seen on the channel with the Regal had been messaging somebody on Craigslist, and I just so happened to come across the ad. There was no pictures. It was the ad read, "Need car gone now, has no oil pressure," and the person was asking $2,500. So I messaged him, and we got back talking back and forth. Come to find out, it was a lady. Her name was Pearl. Super nice lady. Unfortunately though, she was homeless now. So the car was sitting at her friend's house, had no oil pressure. And so me and her back and forth. At the time, I didn't know nothing was going on and stuff. She just told me she was homeless, had to get rid of the car, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, this is how much money I got. What can you do? I was like, you know, that's about all it's worth. The motor to me was trash because if it lost oil pressure, it's probably done. So we were talking to the lady, and we get to the point where we work a deal out. It was $600, what I had gotten out of the other car, and I had to put a starter on her Ranger so she could have something to drive, but I had to tow the Ranger because it was broke down in another friend's apartment complex. Okay. Well, I give her the money, I transfer it before I do anything. We go to get the car, and my dad and my buddy Joe were like, no, it's not gonna happen, it's not real, blah, 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 because she had told me it was a built car. Well, we get there, the car has a cow hood that somebody put on, aluminum heads, and a whole, I mean, just a stack of paperwork that came with the car. They're like, no, it's probably not hers. Well, come to find out it was hers. I got it in my name. We got it home. I told her other Ranger to come to find out was a drag Ranger. The Monte was a drag car, kind of, street and strip car. The Ranger was a street and strip truck. On slicks, fuel cell and everything. We got it to my dad's house. I put a starter on it. It was a V8. It was a 351. Apparently she had bought these before she was homeless. Both of them had broke down about the same time. She had fallen in some hard times, so I was trying to be as nice as I could to her. I mean, it's all the money I had at the time. I was young, just getting started buying a house and everything. And so, keep fast forwarding a little bit. I felt bad for the homeless lady, but she was a super nice lady, but I ended up buying it from her. We got it here, and I had a 383 sitting on an engine stand for one of the circle track cars I had built. One of the first main engines I had built. And my goal was to pull the aluminum heads and everything out of the 355 that was in the Monte. It was an 84 LS Monte, blue with a black hood. Wasn't the prettiest. She had sent me some pictures. It wasn't nothing like what she had sent me. It had faded, clear coat peeled at the time. So right before that, I had acquired a 71 Monte through some wheeling and dealing and trading a truck for it. Now at the time, I didn't have the money to put the 71 together. It was a cool car, 350 car. I mean, I would have loved to keep it, but it had more hidden things wrong with it than what the guy said. He had covered up with paint, and at that time I didn't know what to look for. But it was cool. I had a 71 and I had an 84 at the same time. It was awesome. You know, I was first getting into the Monte game. I love Monte Carlos. So kind of got my name, Monte Guy 90. But we get the car home, we go to pull the hood off of it to put the new motor in. My buddy Joe looks at it and goes, no, stop. I'm like, what are you talking about? Stop. I'm like, all right, what? He's like, hey, you need to really look over this car. There's something you're not seeing. I'm like, all right, man, what? And I looked over the whole car and I'm like, I don't get it. He said, look at your distributor. I'm like, huh. I looked, the distributor's out about an inch. He's like, there is no way you're gonna get this lucky to have this built car that I had receipts for $5,000-$6,000 from the previous owner in Kentucky that had built it. And actually, I had called the previous owner because his number was on the Summit receipts. And he gave me a whole list of what was done to the car, and I told him how much I paid for it, and he about cried. Come to find out, I had a Grand National rear end, Umi rear suspension, aluminum, aluminum radiator, electric fan, MSD box, I mean the whole 9 yards. It was built for street and strip. So we dropped the distributor back down in it. Sure enough, it has oil pressure. All right, so the next weekend we're at the drag strip for the first time I'd ever been in drag strip, about 2009, I'd say, 2010. Car did good, you know, for what it was, 8.1 or something. You know, it was pretty stock. It was on a set of ET streets that were probably 8 years old. Hard as a rock, no tread. I went ahead and switched the 383 into it anyway. Got it down to like the 770s, 760s, something like that. Then comes my buddy Joe, who had bought an SS Monte. We put a circle track motor in it when we decided to stop around 2009, 2010. He'd always wanted one. He decided to stop. So he put a circle track motor in. A couple weeks in, a couple months in, I'd say, transmission goes out. Of course, he had a built motor, stock 200 metric transmission. It just didn't hold. So he's like, yeah, I'm gonna pull, you know, we decided he was gonna pull the motor, sell the car separate because it was worth more doing that than it was selling them together. And I was like, no, don't do that. Let me buy the car. So I gave him $1,000 for the car, what he had paid for it, which, if you go back in my videos, is my 88 Monte Carlo. That's how I got it. I bought it from my buddy Joe after he decided to sell it. It didn't look like it does now. There's pictures, you know, all kinds of stuff. So that's how I acquired the very first SS that I had, and we built it 400 small block. I had the 383 in it. The car wasn't painted at the time. We took it to the drag strip. It did pretty good. We shot a little nitrous through it. We had it down, I don't know, 720, 730, somewhere around there. Wasn't a whole lot done to it. I didn't know nothing about drag racing at the time. Just playing around with some buddies, having a good time. Finally, I decided to paint it. I painted it, and my daughter was born. My one daughter was born right about the time I got that SS, and she was growing up with us putting the SS together with the new 400 small block that I had built and all kinds of stuff. Cast iron dart heads, everything. I mean, my daughter was there from the day I got it, basically from the day we built it, pictures. So it has a lot of sentimental value for that reason, if anybody ever really cares to know. One day we were up at the circle track up at Salem, and my wife was pregnant. The car was in the garage, primed. I did everything off YouTube, learned to do it. I made a paint booth in my garage. I had a guy come to my house who was a professional painter to paint the car. That night I get a phone call while we're at the track. I need to get home. Actually, Joe got the phone call because he was with me. My phone didn't get reception. Hey, I think you need to get home. I think I'm in labor. So we took off, gone. About an hour away, we get back, we go to the hospital. The next day, my daughter's born, my youngest daughter, and same day, the car was painted, the exact same day. I'm sitting in the hospital. My buddy Joe, who lives 3 streets over, came over, was helping the painter as much as he could, and sending me pictures at the same time. So I'm seeing pictures of the car right after my daughter's born. About the time it's painted, 100%, not cleared, but painted. My wife tells me, go ahead, hey, you need to go see your car. I know it means a lot, go see it. So while she's sleeping with the baby, I shot to the house, seen my oldest daughter, and then got to see the car. So it was awesome. That car has a lot of sentimental value for that reason. It was painted the same day my daughter was born. Nothing will beat that car, not the black one. No car I ever build will have as much sentimental value to me as my 88. I mean, it's just one of those things. A year later, maybe not even a year, I decided I want something that I can drive that I don't have to worry about as much, because with the paint job, I didn't want to worry about it. I started searching, found a 86 Regal black, matte black with a Pontiac motor or something in it. Wasn't right, but it was a 400 something Pontiac or something down in it. The guy was going to sell it to me for a pretty good price, but wasn't exactly what I wanted, but I was going to go buy it because I wanted another G-body that I could build and drive. The same day I'm supposed to go get it, a black SS Monte comes up for sale for $1,000, about an hour and a half from my house. So I told the guy, I said, well, I'm sorry, let me see if I can get this car first. It's really what I want. Well, a couple days goes by, and finally the guy gets back from vacation. I get to get down there, and I had a couple buddies that work with me came and helped me get it. And we got the 86 Monte that been seen with the twins. And I stripped it down to bare frame, fixed anything I could, did some framework, boxed it. I mean, I spent a lot of time on that because I wanted that car to be an autocross car, and gradually it's turned into a drag car. But I took it, did a bunch of stuff to it. If you're on my Facebook, you can go back and see. I mean, I did a frame off build. Move forward. The very first year we got the car, I decided to rush it. I said, all right, let's throw a carb on it and go. My buddy Joe helps me put a carb on. The very next year, I said, you know what? Which was 2021, so about 2018-ish. Somewhere around 2018, the end of 2018, after we'd already been to Hot Rod Power Tour, after we'd already been to LS Fest and Street Rod Nationals and everything else, I told him I want to rip it apart. And he's like, what? I said, I want to rip it apart. I want to turbo it. A fuel injection. He's like, all right. So we ripped it apart, and he started, me and him both, but he mainly started doing all my harness for me and helping me do all the fab and stuff like that at his house. And we did the first twin turbo setup last year. And it did okay. We didn't know what we were doing. None of us had ever done twins. None of us had ever done turbos. We just kind of playing around, having a good time. And we could never get it to go right off the bat. We didn't know what we were doing. I was trying to be cheap. It wasn't working right. About that same time, I messaged some buddies I worked with. I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I can't tune this thing. I don't know what I'm doing. That's when they got me in touch with Steve at Ant Motorsport Solutions. At that time, Steve was just helping people. He didn't have his own business. He was just doing it for fun. And I called him up one day because I got his number. And he's like, yeah, man, I'll stop by and help you. And he came by and told us a bunch of stuff to do and started going through it and realized we had messed a lot of stuff up. I mean, we didn't know what we were doing. First LS swap, I'm just on the forum boards and stuff. And, you know, it's one of them things. And so we messed up a lot. And he told us how to fix it. We got it going last year. And then now we're to where we're at now. In between all this time, I've bought, sold, traded Monte Carlos. I can't tell you how many of them, probably 15 or more. I mainly stuck with the Monte so far until recently. Now I've got Malibus, and basically if I can find any Monte or any G-body, I just buy it. There's a lot of stuff in between I just kind of skipped, but yeah, I mean, guys, the main way I got into it was through a homeless lady that needed the car gone because it was going to be towed and it had no oil pressure that she had bought from some guy before she was homeless. So, and I know some people are going to think I'm full of crap, but, you know, I've got proof of all of it. I've got the receipts where the guy built the car. I've got pictures. I'll try to post some if I can figure out how to do it, of the car when I bought it and all the cars I had at one time. But that's kind of how I got started. I mean, I always loved them. And then when I got one, it was just like a spiral effect of me buying as many as I could and me planning on building a whole bunch of them. And gradually it became 2. And then now with the Malibu project, 3. Eventually I plan on getting 1 more for possibly my wife that she doesn't know about, and she doesn't really watch my videos, so it's okay. But I'd like to get her something, possibly a Regal that's all white like my buddy Steve's. It's, you know, I love the white Regal look. But guys, that's really about it. You know, it was just a weird coincidence. It happened, and now I haven't stopped, and I don't plan on stopping. I love them. There's something about a Monte Carlo sitting there that just looks gorgeous to me, or really any G-body. I've actually got an El Camino in mine. I was never an El Camino fan until I found a Choo Choo Custom SS sitting near my house that I would really like to buy, just like a slight build, just to have as like a parts truck or something, just for fun. Might not happen, but we'll see. But guys, yeah, I mean, that's how it started. I don't know who that is, but that's awful. But I'd like to know your story. How'd you get into these? Did you grow up with your dad doing it? Did you just decide you liked them when you were kids? You know, tell me how you got into them. I mean, I've done everything from circle track to figure 8 to dirt tracks and everything else. And now I'm slowly getting into drag just because I can kind of afford it, you know, a lot easier than the other ones. So, guys, if you would, I know it was a long video. I appreciate you watching. Hit that like and subscribe button. Hit the bell. Apparently there's a bell I didn't know about to let you know when I post videos so you can see them. Give me comments. Tell me what you want to see more of. The car should be back in the next week or so. He is killing it. He has already got my whole engine harness done. I want to give a big shout out to Steve, Ant Motorsport Solutions. If you need wiring done, please contact him because he is the best guy around. Super picky, and it looks the best you will ever probably see. He's super picky. I mean, he even cut my Terminator harness apart just so he can get the lay right because he didn't like the way it laid. And I appreciate it because it makes it look better and easier to work on too in the long run. So go to my Instagram, MonteGuy90, see the pictures of Steve's work, see the Monte being done. It should be back soon, and we'll start really busting on it because I need to get tested on it. I kind of changed my mind on some things real quick. I plan on going to Midwest Drags next year. I didn't even know about it. It's a little closer to home. It'll give me at least a nice start to learn how to do some things before we try to go to drag week. So I want to do both next year. Midwest will be first. So the goal is to get the car ready, get a cage in it over the winter, and really just keep testing until Midwest, and then possibly try to do both next year. We'll see what happens. But guys, I appreciate it. Like, subscribe. Let me know how you feel. Until next time, guys, we'll see you later.